What up, Dokkaners? So something weird is going on here, but we're still going to talk about it because we have a full new free-to-play team, the Goku Black Rose Clone Army. The thing that's weird, however, is in the data files, in the data download, everything that we see here is correct. However, it doesn't add up, because when you consider these clones, you obviously would think of the Metal Cooler Clone Army, right? And when you go back here, the TUR gives each character a different unique pose with different unique functions, but their primary SSR art is the same. It's this dude, right? So if we go like to the STR version, actually, wait, that's the leader. That's the one exception. This guy, his SSR is the same dude, right? But it's very clearly SSR into this being the TUR. However, in the data files, both characters are being considered as the TUR. So at the moment, there are currently a few questions that we don't have confirmation on. Number one, what metal is needed to Dokkan Awaken these guys? Number two, which one actually is the SSR and which one is the TUR? If I were to guess, the SSR would be the one with all the Goku Black clones looking exactly the same, where the TUR makes them more unique. So we are going to be discussing the TUR characters in this video, but honestly, they all do the same thing anyway. So there's got to be some sort of a glitch or some sort of an issue server side. I'm sure they will eventually fix this. We're not going to be assessing what the SSR version of the character does anyway, just because there's already a TUR form. I'm guessing that the TUR form, this is what they do. Like, this is actually a pretty strong set of abilities. I don't think that there's going to be a higher version of this until eventually we get an EZA. And an EZA may or may not happen during this celebration. I personally hope it doesn't happen, because with this new standard of quality that they've set with these free-to-play character releases, they don't need to give them EZAs right away. We saw this with the worldwide celebration last year. The TEQ free-to-play Paragus was amazing. The INT Kid Trunks is one of the best dodging units in the game right now. So these types of characters still hold their weight without the need of an EZA. Once they get their EZAs, they've essentially maxed out, right? They've peaked. We don't want that. So let's go ahead and take a look at these units here. And I will be doing a lot of referencing back to the Metal Cooler Army. So there are 5 characters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that we will be looking over. All right, so let's start with the AGL. So all of these guys are the same. All types lead key plus 3, 50%. And then their super attacks have some levels of variation, but essentially it's kind of just this. Greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn, cause supreme damage to the enemy. There's a 50% chance that the super attack does even more damage. So let's take a look at the 2 animations to see the difference. Actually, I'll just tell you, there's no difference. It's just that the more powerful version of the attack gets an extra sequence at the end. So this one normally just ends with a kick. However, the extra version has a little bit more. So you do the same thing, go in there, kick everybody, yada, 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 shabam. And then they do this. Every one of the clones does that extra animation. There's no unique animation for any one of them. They're all the same. So we don't need to watch those again, but that's essentially what it is. So now let's take a look at the abilities. As the second or third attacker in a turn, at the start of the turn, change STR to AGL. This is something that also the Metal Cooler Army units have. And this is basically something where you have to strategize in advance. If you are looking for a certain orb to appear more frequently and you want this ability to proc, then the previous turn you would want this AGL Goku to be in slot 1. That way when they come back turn, like the following turn, they show up in slot 2. Or if this unit is floating off from slot 3 on the first turn, then when they come back eventually they will show up in slot 1, and then you'll have to wait an extra turn to get to this point. So it's really just dependent on where you're positioning. This requires some planning in advance. Per Future Saga category ally on the team. Attack and defense plus 40% up to 200%. Chance to dodge plus 10% up to 50. So what you're going to notice throughout this video is that most of the units have this part of the passive the same across the board. This is where there's some variations. So this guy gets up to 50% dodge chance with a full Future Saga rotation, or full Future Saga team. So 5, that's what we needed most. Per Future Saga category ally whose name includes clone on the team, defense plus 30% up to 150, chance to dodge plus 4% up to 20. So collectively, you could be looking at 70% chance to dodge and an extra 150% defense and all that stuff when you've got the full clone army there. When the team includes all 5 types of extreme, attack and defense plus 150. All allies attack plus 30% for 2 turns. Ooh, multi-turn support. With 1 or more AGL key spheres obtained, 20% extra dodge. Are you serious? 90% dodge chance for this guy. Okay. When attacking with 12 or more key, attack and defense plus 200%, launches 2 additional attacks. Each of them has a great chance of becoming a super. Wow. Okay. So there you go. This is your dodge specialist with some attack supporting and some defense. A pretty good collection of abilities for a free-to-play unit, no less. If we compare this to the AGL version, this guy was also the dodger. Medium chance to dodge, extra dodge with 3 or more key spheres. Obviously, these units look, they pale in comparison. And these guys also had EZAs. They're old school. This, considering these guys came out 2022, I guess it shouldn't be too surprising. But okay. So there you go. That's what the AGL clone does. Let's take a look at the next one here. Let's go back here. We saw AGL. Let's go to TEQ. Same leader skill. Super attack, greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn, cause supreme damage, and seals. And again, 50% chance to do more damage. Animations are exactly the same. In slot 2 or 3 at the beginning of the turn, you can change AGL to TEQ. So actually, depending on the order of characters, if you've got this one and then maybe like the INT character, you might change AGL orbs basically to INT, depending on how it all goes. Per Future Saga ally in the team. So again, we've got the same common passive, attack and defense plus 40% up to 200. Now we nerf the enemy based on how many characters we have. So all enemies attack and defense minus 8%, sorry, up to 40. Then per Future Saga category ally whose name includes clone on the team, attack and defense plus 20% up to 100. All enemies attack and defense minus 6%, no more than 30%. So once again, more nerfing for the enemy. Ooh, it's gonna be good. There's certain units that have extra effects when you fight nerfed characters. When you have every single extreme type, attack and defense plus 150, interrupts the attacked enemy. So you can disable enemy action once. 1 or more tech key spheres obtained, damage reduction 40%. When receiving an attack from an enemy who is hit by the character's super attack. Okay, very good. When attacking with 12 or more key, attack and defense plus 200%. Another attack and defense plus 200% when the enemy is below 60% health or attack down, defense down, stunned, or sealed. And half of these are going to be doable with this unit. Wow. Okay. That is something. Sealing, nerfing, and damage reduction. This guy's actually going to be, dude, what the heck? They cooked on these. All right. Next, we've got the INT free to play. Okay. So this guy greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn. Cause supreme damage, raises allies defense by 15% for 2 turns. Okay. In slot 2 or 3 at the start of the turn, changes TEQ to INT. For Future Saga on the team, once again, attack and defense plus 40% up to 200. All allies attack and defense plus 8% up to 40. And then if you've got the full clone setup, another attack and defense plus 20% up to 100. All allies attack and defense plus 6% up to 30. You could be looking at a 70% support on the turn. When the team includes all 5 types, attack and defense plus 150, foresees enemy super attack. You can foresee enemy super attack. You can disable enemy actions. So you could basically pinpoint the super, and if it's positioned right, you could cancel it. With 1 or more INT key spheres obtained, you recover health. Oh my god, that was the INT Metal Cooler's job. He did that. Recovers health, recovers health. Yeah, they definitely copy and pasted. Well, not copy and pasted, but they added some inspiration. When attacking with 12 or more key, attack and defense plus 200%, guards all attacks. Excellent. And the 2-turn defense buff. Dude, this team. And they all have big bad bosses. Okay. The Metal Cooler team, what their gimmick was, besides the synergy, they have extra damage reduction cushioning, 5%, and 5% heals. They also have some like extra attack here and there. But these guys have the big bad boss connection. It's very important that you guys link level these units and get that big bad boss connection up to 10, because then you don't have to worry about any health restriction. Moving over to the STR, this guy was the nuker, I think, on the Metal Cooler side. So here, massively raised attack. Yep. Raised defense for 1 turn, cause supreme damage. Slot 2 or 3, change physical to STR. Future Saga again. Attack and defense plus 40% up to 200. Chance to crit plus 15 up to 75. Good lord, this guy's an STR type. So that's going to make your base 5 critical essentially useless. For Future Saga Clone, attack plus 30% up to 150. Oh, no defense at all. Chance to crit plus 5% up to 25. You have a guaranteed crit. Okay. Well, that sucks for your base 5. When the team includes all 5 extreme types, attack and defense plus 150, attack and defense plus 150 when attacking a super class enemy. Got it. With 1 or more STR key spheres obtained, launches an additional super attack. So you can launch multiple guaranteed crit supers while you're massively raising attack. When attacking with 12 or more key, attack and defense plus 200%, damage reduction plus 20%. So defense is a little lacking in comparison, but still you're making up for it elsewhere. And then on top of that, you got some damage reduction. I don't honestly know which character I like the best. I can't tell. They're doing a good job making them all equally fun. All right, now we've got the physical one. I gotta say, it's very weird to look at this. After all the other ones, they look so dark and sinister and evil. I don't know why. This physical one, maybe it's the ugly mustard color. It doesn't look that menacing. All right, so here, raises attack, massively raises defense for 1 turn, causes supreme damage. Okay. Slots 2 or 3 at the start of the turn, changes int to physical. Same passive, attack and defense plus 40% up to 200. Damage reduction up by 6% up to 30. And then with the full Future Saga clone, you get an additional attack and defense plus 100%. Damage reduction up to 20% more. 50% damage reduction while massively raising defense. I actually might have found my winner. When you've got all 5 extreme types, attack and defense plus 150. All allies defense plus 30% for 2 turns. Yep. 1 or more physical key spheres obtained, guards. This is my favorite. This is the best one. When attacking with 12 or more key, attack and defense plus 200%. Attacks effective against all types. I just found my favorite. This guy has guard, 50% damage reduction, and you are providing team defense for 2 turns. That is, I spoke too soon. This guy is, not only does he have a place here, I mean, he may not necessarily have the same level of resiliency because you're sacrificing so much with this, but this guy could hold a place on summonable teams on certain events where you're just desperately trying to tank damage. This guy could be useful for that. So yeah, this is probably my favorite. Dude, this is a stacked team of free-to-play units. And there's only 5 of them, which means you will need a leader to rally the troops, which means the summonable or the friend summon GOKU Black Rose Zamasu will do the deed. And if not that, you could also throw in the STR Zamasu Goku, because this guy does, well, he doesn't help with the clone department, but he is another free-to-play character, and he does, well, he only leaves at 100%. But I mean, you know, he's an option. That is very nice. So I will clarify in the pinned comment if we get any sort of news sometime soon, what's going on with this weird like glitch in the matrix. I don't know what's going on. Again, I think that this is going to ultimately be the SSR. Stats and everything are exactly the same. So this was in the data. So clearly they goofed, but they were so fixated on the Omega Shenron leak that they forgot to fix this. So whenever they fix it, they'll fix it. But in the meantime, let me know what you guys think about what we know on these clone characters. Which one looks the best to you? Are you guys excited in running these characters? And what sort of lead do you think you'll be running, assuming you maybe don't have the Zamasu Goku? But I've seen a lot of people say they're not going to summon. I think people will still summon, but if you manage to not get the unit, who would be your backup lead? Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, obviously like down below. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the free-to-play team, the state of free-to-play in general, and your excitement for the future of Future Saga category with these 5 new pieces to add to the team, both free-to-play and summonable. You gotta admit, Future Saga is looking better and better with each passing day and with each passing video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more content of the future and click the notification bell so that you let YouTube know you want to see more of my stuff. Do it. Thanks again. Stay tuned and remember to Dokkan responsibly.